Welcome to this video, and we're going to be playing another 5-minute game, and we're playing Dissidents 1296. So we'll go with a French defense today. Our rating is still provisional, so the advanced variation. And normally I think knight f3 or c3 are played here. Okay, so knight c6, piling up the pressure on the d-pawn. Okay, so I don't think this is great for white now, because he's sort of giving up the center. I actually like knight g7 here. Sometimes the knight can go to g6 to hit the e-pawn. So the main issue for black is this king is a bit bare. But I think if we go knight g6 hitting the e-pawn, it kind of forces black to take on c6, and I think that's good for my pawn structure and good for my central pawns. Okay, so let's just continue to pile up here on the e-pawn. And I'm going to read... Okay, so he uses a tempo to get to the bishop. We could think about knight takes. Let's just think about this now, because knight takes will defend the bishop via the queen. So knight takes, knight takes, knight takes. Then knight takes bishop, and if I recapture I lose this, or rook takes knight, and if I recapture there I lose the bishop. So I have to do something about this. The check is possible. Bishop takes f2. When white recaptures, we play queen b6 check and attack the rook, but white can block with... Let's just have a look at this again. So bishop takes f2, king takes f2, check, queen b6, check, and then if knight blocks, then we recapture with the knight, and then queen takes is no good. It would have to be the other knight, and then that defends the bishop. So that's not going to work either. So taking a long time on this. Let's just go back to b6, I think. Still threatening the e-pawn. My original plan is to take this with the b6, with the b7 pawn, but since the c-file is semi-open, it might be better to... Okay, so now again I want to take this pawn, and this time I'm taking with check, so I think this is now fine, because on a5 I can play bishop c5 if necessary. So I think this is a pawn, and this is with check. So we'll play knight takes f3 check, and then we can move our queen. Let's just see, we can actually take this off as well. In fact, aren't we just winning a piece here? We are. So I think just queen takes f4, and then pre-move the knight recapture. And then on a5 we have bishop c7, which would threaten a nasty check on h2. So I think we've got this nicely under control now. Not sure where white went wrong there. We played ce5. I think bishop f4 was wrong. Yeah, so I think we're just going to trade here now. Actually, this is a mistake. Surely we can just take on d2 here. So just missing a piece on prise there. So that's not very good. That said, I think we're in good shape. So I'm going to play a6 now to shift the bishop and give my bishop an extra square on a7 if a5 comes. The bishop probably has to come to d3 then, and then we can think about knight f4 or knight e5. Knight e5 is covered, so I think just knight f4, hitting the bishop again. Should be good. And we're covering the c7 square here, so we don't need to what I was thinking was, okay, if bishop stays there and we recapture, c takes, the c file is open for white, but he can't really get in because we've got that square under control. So I'm just going to trade the rooks now, and now it's just a question of occupying the c file and trying to invade with the rooks. So we'll push that plan through. Okay. So rook c4 threatens the a4 pawn, and you can't really meet that with b3 because the c3 pawn hangs. So this is a move I didn't even consider, but I don't think it's going to work because I can play rook takes a4, and if you take the knight on d7, the bishop on d7 rather, we just capture on a1 with check. So I think this is not going to work, so we can pre-move the recapture of the rook and think we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a couple of pawns and a piece up, so we're about 5 points ahead now, so it's fairly good. This is obviously just a blunder because the bishop's still looking at that square that it came from, and I expect white will resign fairly soon. Okay, so now just pinning the rook to the king, and pawn to c4 will just get taken. So I think this is over now. And we'll just take the c file, trying to invade with the rook. On b3, I think we come to f4. On f3, probably just going to push to e4. So I think we can play the check as an intermediate move. And actually now we can get a nice passed pawn here. But we could just get a passed e pawn, which is also good. I think we may as well play this, and then we can follow up with e3 and have two connected passed pawns. And I think it's pretty much game over there. So let's play another check. Alrighty. So now rook to this. The idea is to play rook d6 and then push the d pawn. c5 is not going to work because we just take it off. Yeah, so he's trying to play c5 obviously. But now we're going to, let's just see, we can actually play rook here, and then on c5 just move the bishop. Yeah, okay, that's fine, because you can't really get to these pawns now, they protect themselves. You'd have to come all the way around here to c1, so just going to start taking the kingside pawns now. Time is fine, and we can fork these two pawns now on f4, so we'll take the b. This is actually threatening mate now if white doesn't see it, and I don't think he does, so that's good. Lovely. Thanks very much for watching.